Well, we're working at Harper's Island really because we want to illustrate a bottom-up nature conservation process. So Harper's Island is a great example of nature restoration and nature conservation, which is co-led. It's a multi-stakeholder management process. There's the local authority involved, but really it's the local community that are really the powerhouse behind the work. We wanted to showcase this as a really good example of bottom-up nature conservation, where the local community has a really big role, a really important role, and really are driving the activities going on in the area. Well, in Cork Harbour, where Harper's Island is located, Cork Harbour is a very busy area. However, the harbour itself is very important from an ecological point of view. It's got some really important, internationally important habitats and species. And so Harper's Island is a small pocket in the harbour where a lot of water birds gather and congregate. So it's very important from an ecological point of view, not just in Cork and in Ireland, but actually internationally. So that's why this area is really worth preserving and is so important. So I think there was a lot of recognition of the importance of Harper's Island, but really only amongst those who are ornithologists, who are familiar with the area. And what happened was, a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago, a local ornithologist met a local person just by chance. The ornithologist was looking at the birds in Harper's Island and they started having a chat. And the local person thought, I've always thought that this area is very interesting, that it would be lovely to be able to walk here and for the community to use it, because the area was just an empty space. So after this interaction and with a lot of other people involved, over the years, it grew into something much more. So it's a great example of where the ecological knowledge that was held by the NGO and by the ornithological community and the local community coming together and recognising other values that this place has. So in the A-Aagora project, we didn't really implement this solution. What we wanted to do was to map the journey the community took. So what we're trying to do is make this journey more obvious to people in order that others can use it and it can be replicated elsewhere. So what the community did was that they brought together a steering committee which is composed of members of the local authority, local community members, local community groups, the local men's shed. So a lot of representatives from the community, as well as the representative of the local authority, who are the landowners on the site. So that's how the site is managed at the moment, through this steering committee, which is a multi-stakeholder steering committee. And what happens is this steering committee meets and they talk about all of their shared goals and individual goals for the site. They come up with strategies and plans, thinking about which of these ideas can be taken forward in the short, medium and long term. So really it's very much a collaborative process, but everyone is on the same page as to wanting to protect the site, recognising its value for biodiversity, in climate action, and all the other reasons why it's important to the community as an amenity to the community as well. 20 years ago to now, a really vibrant nature reserve that's open to the public with bird hides, trails, bilingual signage, nesting boxes, habitat restoration, new habitats created, ponds, it's fantastic. So we want others to learn from that and we want them to see how this community have achieved that, and that's what our materials within A-Aagora are showing. So for me, I think the key takeaway is to lean into people's existing motivations. What motivates them already? You don't need to try and bring people into your motivation. You just need to find out what their motivation is and then come together and say, well, your motivation and my motivation, we want the same thing, but we're coming at it from two different angles. And I think there's an awful lot of power in that. And it means that you don't have to try and drag people into a different agenda. They have their own agenda and you can achieve things together that way. I think the key recommendations that I would give, and they're not my recommendations, they're recommendations of the community that we've already worked with, is to get a group together, get a group of people around the table who are interested in this area. Don't worry why they're interested in it, just get them around the table and get people talking to each other about what they enjoy about this area, what they would like to see happen with it. So get the right people together, I think that's the first step. And that's really setting up your core committee. And then try to create a strategy, even if it's just a few pages. Try to create some kind of strategy for your short, medium and long term that you all agree on. So that would be the second thing. Get the people together, come up with a plan that you all think, yeah, this does something for me. There needs to be a win for everyone in this strategy. And the last thing is get out onto the site and start doing practical work together. And that creates a lot of bonding between people, and it cements the group and helps it to become a reality. So I think for me, those are the three things that's three things that they said. And I really think that they're brilliant points. And that's how you can achieve something, is by having the right people, the right plan, and working together and collaborating.